All right, what's going on, everyone? We're back again. We say this every time, but anyway, we're back. Stay tuned. What's going on? I'm with Jesse and T Dot. He's saying
Yeah,
All
good
good,
man.
my
What are you
guy.
saying?
All good.
I conveniently skipped the episode number because I forgot, but we're doing well anyway. Like we've been pushing them out for over a year now. We've been live for over a year.
Yeah, man.
Has it been that long?
What's up?
Yeah,
Yeah. I think the first episode was the football manager one, isn't it?
yeah. It was about. I think it was literally this time. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the week it came out. I think last year. That's when we did
Yeah,
ours.
yeah. Yeah. Have you looked, are you think you both said you're not started your games yet, have you?
And I'm
I haven't.
starting mine tonight
I haven't even
Oh,
bought
okay,
it.
cool.
when the England
Okay.
game's on tonight, and it so I'm actually gonna watch that game as well. I haven't watched any
Who,
of it.
who they
Yeah.
playing? San Marino.
Yeah. Another 10-0, something mad like that.
Yeah, that's gonna be double
Police,
figures.
the policemen and painters and decorators and that. Mental.
Not even a
They've
dentist,
conceded 36 goals already as well.
Dentists as well. Dentists, firemen,
Man's
Not in
school
San Marino.
teachers.
They're
Yeah.
busy, innit?
Yeah,
COVID
man.
times.
Man, part-time footballers. Oh, what are you doing after work? Oh, I'm playing against Harry Kane. Mental,
With a
man.
little
knock them
boot
though,
bag,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
knock them, man. Can't knock them for that. Still, imagine
No.
that you
No,
work
I'm
there,
not. No,
and
I'm
then
not.
you're
I'm not.
playing against world-class players like that in the afternoon. That's a mad one. But I hear what you're saying, man.
No, it's crazy. Big them up
Yeah.
is sick, but it's like
It's a bit
they
mad,
need
isn't
to
it?
anyway. Yeah, it's silly, isn't it, man?
Mm.
This is why man have got like 50 plus goals, and this is a play to the whistle one, but
Yeah,
we'll talk about
100%.
that next time. But yeah,
I might ever go there, but yeah, I'll bring it up next time.
no, next time it's all
Um,
silly. Yeah.
I was going to ask actually, Jesse, because I was talking to Thea about this, but have you watched what is the name of it? Is it the Harder
Harder
They
Day
Come?
Fall.
Harder They
No,
Fall.
you're on
Have
about
you?
Jimmy Cliff, cause
No,
Harder
no,
Day
no.
Fall.
I was getting confused. No, I was getting. Listen, have you watched it, Jesse?
No, not yet. It's on my list though. It's on my list. I'm behind with all the films that have come out lately, and that. I'm only just watching Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. I don't know if you've already seen it, but the
You
Marvel
sure?
film,
The Marvel one. No,
the one that came out in the summer.
is that Would you watch it in the cinema or is it Disney Plus thing now?
No, it's on Disney Plus now.
Mm.
See,
Yeah.
he lined you up there, innit? He lined you up.
I
You know what he was
didn't,
doing?
but
I know what he was doing there.
I
He lined
didn't.
you up, man.
I
And you
didn't.
can't let that.
I didn't.
See the thing with Kieran, he can't let that go. You know, remember the episode we did?
Tino,
Can't
you're
let
The
it go.
thing, but do you know what's funny with him though? Yeah, he can't let things go when he's like dead wrong. Like he's so wrong, yeah. And he's
Stubborn, innit?
yeah, it's like man, like he's like nowhere near it, man.
Why you
Where
got
did you
getting so? Why you getting so heated? I just asked you where you watched it.
He lined him
Because I
up,
might
man.
watch
Man lined him up,
it.
innit?
where did you
Tried to
watch How
line
Did
him
They
up.
Come? Was it on Disney Plus?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Nah,
cool.
you're lying. You're lying.
after Walking Dead.
I know.
You're lying.
I know he's lying, man. Man with
It's
his
good though. It's a good. I'm not even gonna
No,
spoil it because I know you're
it's
gonna get round to
good.
watching it, man. But
Oh, it's
it's
sick.
a
It's got
very
everything. Yeah.
yeah. It's one of them where like I didn't have any expectations of it as well, so I watched it not really. You know, like everyone bigged up. What's it called? Squid Game, all them kind of stuff. Everyone bigged it all up on that, and I will watch that. But because I wanted to watch this early because I knew at one point potentially people might start dropping spoilers and stuff like that. So I thought, let me just get it out of the way. But it's good. It's long. It's like 2 hours 20, something like that. But it's definitely worth it, man.
Yeah.
And the end as well. The end was for me anyway, one of the best parts of the film. But yeah, it's good, man.
It's good when the end is one of the best parts of a film.
Yeah. I'm not.
Because sometimes,
yeah.
sometimes endings ruin films, don't they? It's on my to-do list though. Definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, you'll enjoy that. You'll definitely enjoy it. So,
What's been happening?
because you can talk about the whole Travis Scott thing, weren't we? We're going to touch on it at least.
Yeah. Obviously, I think a lot more information has come out since it like first happened, but I think it's just one of them things. I think if you've been on the other side of it or you've worked in them like them shows, concerts, festivals, whatever you want to call it, you kind of know that like things like that could easily happen, innit? And like I think I saw a bit where I don't know if it was true or not, but one of them news sites reported that he was asked to cut his show short by 40 minutes, and he continued for 40 minutes. But I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah, but in terms of numbers that they give for these festivals and to the amount of staff that they have, or like projected amount of staff, things like this can always happen because they never have the amount of staff that they need for these festivals. So that's how things like that even happen in the first place anyway. And, you know, selling too many tickets as well, letting too many people into the venue or the site. So things like that can always happen. I remember was that Wireless? I think it was the 2016 one. Yeah, it was 2016 because it was the day of the Euros final when Portugal beat France. And me and my mate was in the Pepsi Max tent when Young Thug was on, and it was a madness in there. Like people getting crushed in there, and obviously no one heard anything about it because no one died in there. But like me and my mate picked up this girl off the floor, like she was getting like trampled on. So we dragged her off the floor, and we was also getting crushed in there as well. There was that many people in there, and we had to roll out of the side of the tent. Like we had to lift up the side of the tent to literally roll out of the tent because there was that many people in there. So there's no security. There was only security at the front protecting the artists, but there's no security to control how many people is actually in that tent. And that's poor planning by the organisers because why is Young Thug even in a tent anyway? So that's how these kind of things happen. It's not Travis Scott didn't organise that whole show, the whole event. It's not on him. That's on whoever the organisers were or the company, the management company that put it together. That's just my opinion anyway. And I know they always like with these shows, they always undercut the amount of staff because they don't want to pay for the right amounts, and they stretch them thin, and things like that happen as well. So, but again, that's another thing. That's on the management company, in my opinion, though.
You know what's a mad one with that? Because everything you say, that was my first thoughts when I saw it. And I agree with you as well. Like I feel too many people get away with that. Like I know T Dot's been, I've been where, and not even just music stuff, but just in general. There's just too much people pack up in a place, and it's just not been properly organized. Um, I think today, I don't know if it's a new thing, but there's a 9-year-old that they've said has died as a result of it now. Because it was a 13-year-old was that was the youngest now, and there's just so many. I've got so many questions like, what's a 9-year-old doing there in the first place? Who's let them in? Who's not, like, looking after this 9-year-old? But I do understand to an extent why people are coming after Travis Scott because from what I understand and from a few videos I've seen, I think people are pissed off that he's inciting it. And that's what it looks like anyway. I'm not saying that I was there or that's what I believe he's done, but he seems like he might be encouraging people to do things that aren't particularly helpful for that situation. There's a lot of accusations about when he was on a stage and he could see people being crushed and he just carried on. You see the ambulance and apparently he's saying fuck the ambulance and things like that. So I think that's just left me conflicted because I wouldn't, and given his previous in other things, other like shows that he's done, I don't know if he's completely innocent of that, but it definitely feels like all the target is on him, which I don't think is right, personally.
I don't think he's in any wrong, if I'm honest, for a couple of reasons. I think I agree with what Jesse was saying. Like I've been to shows before, been at the side of the stage, and you can see that the thing's overcrowded. That's nothing to do with him. That's just like Jesse was saying. That's like more of an organization. Um, Organizers, they're the ones who are undercutting all the cost and want to trim down security and medical assistance, all that kind of stuff. That's their job. Travis Scott has to just turn up, do his sound check, go back dressing room, chill. That's his thing. That's his area of work. Security is someone else's job. Medical staff is someone else's job. Lighting someone's job. The stage props is someone's job. They're all different people's jobs. But it's funny because like people, I'm not even going to talk about this too much, but people bring up like the first time I've ever seen Sky News, BBC talk about Travis Scott, but they didn't talk about all the charity work that he's done in Houston when he fed 50,000 people. They haven't spoke about all the other concerts that he's done where he stopped his show, he even stopped his show that night as well, 3 or 4 times. They don't talk about that. They're just talking about, oh, Travis Scott. They're just putting his name on there, but they don't talk about all the awards that he's got, all the work that he's done in his own community. The whole reason that whole festival happened was because of all the work they had done previously, and the fact that they didn't have that. Astroworld was basically a whole theme park that used to be there years ago, and the mayor of Houston put the money up to do that. This has been years in the planning. And the kid that died, the 9-year-old, his dad was there. His dad died as well. But it wasn't just a festival. There was other things within that whole thing. There was like a theme park, amusement. That's what they don't tell you in the stories in the newspapers. It wasn't just like you roll up and it's just pure vibes and music and all that. There was a whole bag up. It was like a theme park. It's like going to Alton Towers with a music festival happening at the same time. So I understand why kids were there, but it's mad because you know what the narrative is going to be all the time. They don't talk about the 100 people that died in a thing in California, I think in 2009 or something like that. They don't talk about them. They don't talk about Glastonbury when people OD and fucking get riots kick off there. They don't talk about none of that stuff ever. They just, oh, I can't wait for like Glastonbury next year. I wonder who's headlining Glastonbury. But don't talk about the deaths or the people that end up in the Portaloos and they're just OD'd, foaming at the mouth. They don't talk about none of that stuff. But then Travis Scott, who's doing one thing, and then they talk, it's nonsense, man. I can't even entertain that shit, man, because it's just like, even people that I've seen who work within like artist management in this country, they're blaming Travis Scott, but they should know better as well, because they've got artists, big artists that have done like the wireless festival. Jesse, like you said, I know some of them. I've seen them tweet it, and they're blaming like Travis Scott. Like, that's how you know that the media just manipulate things, man. Because it's just stupid, man. But I'm not going to talk about it too much because it just gets me angry. That's my piece.
No, like I never saw what you said, Kieran, about them videos. I haven't seen them, so I don't know if he said that stuff and if it was connected to the Astroworld show or another of them videos were from another show. But yeah, I'm just speaking from my own experience. One from like working at festivals and also being at them. So I know from both that something like that could always happen, man, because it's just it's not even a lack of organisation, it's just pure cost cutting why things like that can happen.
Yeah, it's neglect. That's
It's
it.
neglect and it's not having enough security and things like that, you know. That's how you stop things like that happening, because you have some at the front, but all they care about is the artists, and at the front, they don't actually care about the crowds. It's just protecting the artists, making sure no one comes on the stage, but not having anyone in the middle or at the back or in the sides. They never have enough stuff. And if you do, things like that might not necessarily stop it from happening, but it reduces the amount of, you know, chance of it happening, deaths. But they never care about things like that.
Well, that's mad because that's their job, isn't it? Like, part of your job
Yeah.
is you risk assess. Like, I'm sure in events, I've never done an events course, but that's 101, surely. Like,
It
part
is,
of the
but
thing, it's like if you do football coaching, part of your badge is health and safety. Like,
yeah.
you're checking that there on bottle caps on the floor where like 5-year-olds or so. It's mad.
Yeah. It is, but it's like, it's again what Theo said. It's a lot of it is cost cutting,
Yeah.
and it's we can get 100 more security guards, but it's going to cost this amount, and then it's going to raise the
Cut into the
ticket
profits.
price, and then
Yeah.
cut into the But it's like, even the one like I said, the Young Thug one, that was madness. That's just bad planning though. Like what Theo just said. If it's a concert and a theme park and all that at the same time, then that's surely not going to work. Do you get what I mean? That should be common sense. And that's like the wireless that I went to. You can't have someone as big as Young Thug in that small Pepsi Max tent. That's a car crash.
Suicide, man.
That's suicide. Yeah, people, like, obviously no one died in there that day, but it could have been
Different
close.
day. Yeah.
No, if we didn't pick, I'm not saying that we saved that girl's life, but she was getting stamped on the floor, like, you know, there was that many people in the tent. So it's just unfortunate. I don't blame him personally, but these things have to be organised a lot better, man. And the cost cutting has to stop.
Do you know what pissed me off as well, though? Like, I think there's a video you see like a boy or a guy, and he's on like some ladder trying to get onto the stage, and he's shouting at, like, there's a TV crew man there, and they're trying to shout to. I can tell certain people have never been on a stage before, because if you've ever, even though there's just a sound system next to you, You can't hear the person stood next to you talking. So why do they think they can shout to Travis? Oh, Travis Scott ignored me. I was on the ladder trying to listen. If anyone's ever been to that kind of like level
It's
of
so
like,
loud.
you can't hear a thing. Like
Can't hear
even just
anything.
a party, like a house
So
party, if
they
they've
have
got a big
the
fuck off
things in their
speakers,
ears, isn't it?
yeah, if they've got in ears, and they're not going to hear you as well. So it's just for me, the whole thing that pissed me off was like they've never mentioned his name in the papers before. Sky News, when I'm getting all these things come up on my phone, never seen them mention his name before. All the charity work that he's done, all of that stuff, all the other shows where he's actually stopped the whole thing, locked off the whole show because something's happened in the crowd. They don't mention that. Or it just even go on YouTube. Just, I don't know why people don't just go on YouTube or Google it. It's all there. I'm not chatting shit. It's all there. Just you see that he's done that before. And then like when he done his apology, everyone was making memes. That's why I can't be bothered with social media anymore, man. Because people just make like everything into a meme, even if it's
They
something
want to turn
serious.
it.
They want to turn it into some
So they
memes and
get
shit, man.
famous and all of that bollocks.
I can't be bothered with like social media. It's got an expiry date for me, man.
100. Well, let's hope that not too much more comes from that, because the whole thing is, it's just sad, isn't it? Like, it's just basically, I think, like you touched on, T Dot, it's just an event for people to go and enjoy themselves, have fun after everything that's been going on as well. But you're right, there's a lot of scapegoat, and that's why like some of the stuff you said I didn't even know, to be fair. So it's just bits and pieces. I've tried read certain bits, but yeah, from when I see the when it came out in the media and on the news, I didn't even. Someone's trying to tell me about it. I just didn't even entertain it at that time, because it was just until you got some distance from it and you can hear a little bit more about it. You can do your own research. Even like I said, the way I was saying about the videos, I've seen certain videos, but I don't even know what it was looking like. So it could have been videos from different shows that he's done, because it's just facing in different ways. I don't even know. So, but boy.
Even if you go back to like a rock concert, they got mosh pits there. You know, when people probably
Yeah,
die in mosh pits and you don't even hear about it.
let's cover it up.
You know what I mean? Like I've been in a mosh pit before, and I thought, oh, my life might actually end here. Do you know what I mean? Because you're getting crushed, like
It's
Yeah,
to
mad.
the point where
100.
like you can feel your bones squeezing up. Like I've been in it before, so I know that it must happen and people must die, but you just don't really. It's not documented as much as a Travis
Yeah,
Scott who's linked to the what's the family, the Kardashians, because he's
Kardashians.
linked
Yeah,
to
that's what I
them.
was thinking. Yeah.
That's the whole reason
Then
why.
and then
You know what I mean? Why people
so
don't like him because he's linked to them. So
then
it's just
people,
stupid, man.
you know them. They always get on my nerves, but them, you know, them like them conspiracy dons, like was posting pictures of the entrance
The
of
devil
the.
shit and it's all the
Oh,
Illuminati. That's what I mean, man. Social
just
media's got an expiry date, man. It's coming. My social media expiry
that's
date is
another thing,
very
because
soon.
that's the other. No, but that's another thing to what you said, Theo. Yeah, it's either they turn it into a meme or a joke here, or they got to link it to the devil. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's always one
Winning
or the
it.
other. Yeah, like so, oh, this happened and it's like, oh, shut up, man.
Isn't it because of his new album, his new single artwork or something? I can't remember what it says on there. It says something like "Not see you in hell" or something like those along those lines. It's something like that. I'll see you on the other side. That's what it says. Something like
Yeah,
that. And then they said, "Oh, it's all this Mason stuff and Illuminati." And come on, man, like, how old are
they
we? We're four, nearly four. I'm nearly 40 years of age.
they try and link
I've been
everything
hearing
to
that
the
shit for 20
Illuminati. It's
years of my life,
boring,
man.
man.
And in fact, to be fair, sign me up to the Illuminati if you get money from it, because I could do with some peace
Yeah,
right now.
fuck it, man.
Do you know what I mean?
Fuck it. Yeah, man. Let me go,
Could do
man.
with fuck, man. Fuck, it's stupid,
Let me
man.
go.
So you saying
What
there
else
was
is?
there was the yeah, I was gonna say there was the we was touching on before, the bomb that went off outside the hospital in Liverpool, because I've just been reading
Oh,
about that today. But do you know much about it, T Dot? Like,
Just that like, obviously there was a man. This is what the media's saying again, so just following the media's lead on this one. But yeah, apparently the man drove up in a taxi, and the taxi driver knew that he had a bomb on him somehow. Don't know how he knew that. Must have seen it. Got out the taxi, and the man like detonated the bomb. At first, I thought it was a fire, to be fair, but then I've seen the CCTV, unless that's documented, doctored. But it looks like a raw bomb went off on the car. I don't even mean to laugh. Like I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm just
no,
laughing because it's just a madness in it. But yeah, I don't know, man. But I said as well, I can't remember if I said it to either of you two, but I always said after the COVID thing, there was always going to be something that happened like this very soon, because I think the last one, especially up here anyway, was Manchester at the what's her name, Ariana Grande concert thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sad, man, because obviously like hospital, especially that hospital, because it's like, I mean, like I spent nearly 3 months there, man, so I know it inside out, and it's accessible. That's the worst thing. Like you can just walk in that hospital, no one really kind of
No
like
issues.
ask 2 questions or nothing. You just walk in and you got free room. So if he got in, it would have been a madness. So fair play to the taxi driver, because if the story is correct, then yeah, he done a, obviously I think he's home now, he's out of hospital and all that, but yeah, he done well there to spot that, and then obviously deal with it in the way he felt he had to deal with it, man. But sad, man, sad. But it won't be the last one. Like as sad as that sounds as well, like this is the time of year, man. Christmas markets are out, everyone's cheersing each other. This is why I keep my skin in my house, man, because it's just, you just don't know, innit? You don't know when it's gonna happen.
Yeah, they've made terrorists as well, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they arrested 3 yesterday and 1 this morning.
In London, isn't it? I think West London.
What, linked to that one yesterday?
I think so.
No, they're all in Liverpool.
Is it? I thought. Wait.
Yeah. Kensington, Liverpool.
Oh, my bad. That's what I saw. I saw Kensington. I thought it was London still.
No.
It's an easy mistake to make, man. Come on, allow me.
No, but it's mad though, because I remember when I used to do security, we had to go on this. You had to do it like not once a year, but you had to go on it every like 18 months or 2 years, and it was like it's in Whitehall, like in Central, innit? And was it Whitehall? One of the government buildings near Charing Cross, anyway. And it's mad. They give you all the stats of how many terror attacks they
intervene.
You might have to cut this bit, but they give you like how many stats a year of how many terror attacks that they stop before they happen, just off like intelligence, and it's nuts. So like for all the ones that do happen, there's loads that they stop. It's mad as well, because obviously they can't scare people, so they can't talk about that kind of stuff in the news, innit? But it's the numbers are mad.
You know what's mad as well, because sometimes, like, I don't know if it's like this in London, and it might be the norm in London because it's a capital, but I know, especially when I lived in Birmingham, there'd be like random days you just see armed police walking the streets for no reason. Like there's no reason, and you know why they're doing it, because obviously they've had the intel that something's going to happen, but they can't, like you just said then, Jesse, they can't really scare the population every other day with that. But
I saw one, exactly what you're talking about, when I was still doing courier work in central London, and they was like, I don't even know how many of them there was. I turned left to drive down this road because I was following the sat nav, and they just stood in front of the car like and said no, and then like told me to wind down the window. I was thinking,
and said do a U-turn,
but they're holding them big. No, but they were holding them big machine guns. I was getting fucking scared.
The ones that are like this, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, no.
Back that thing up in reverse,
and then,
innit?
Listen, and then one of them was jogging to the car, I was like, why are you jogging to the car, man? I don't want that today. I'm just working. And then they wound down, obviously I wound down the window and said, you got to turn left, fella. I was like, yeah, right, mate. I don't even ask him why. I don't care. I see machine guns. I just thought, fuck it, man. But again, that's what Theo's talking about. Like, that's definitely something happening. But it wasn't. I didn't see it on the news that day. Like, it don't get to.
Won't ever see it ever.
No, exactly. So that's what I meant. Like, there's so many, for all the attacks that do happen, unfortunately, and lives get lost. There's still loads that get stopped before they've even happened that we don't even know about, man.
But it's like this one yesterday. Apparently they knew of the people that identified them before, so it kind of backs up what you're saying, because obviously they've got the intelligence there, but I suppose in some ways as well they can't necessarily act on that intelligence until something's kind of happened. It's mad because they've got to wait for something to happen in order to do that.
Yeah,
do you get what I mean?
It's like honestly it's not a mad analogy, but it's like even in like retail security, where you can see someone pick something up, pull it in their jacket.
You got to wait to go out of the shop,
but you got to wait for them to go out the shop, innit? Because they ain't done nothing until they've left the shop. So, yeah, it's mad. But Yeah, sad though for the taxi driver.
I was just thinking about, because I know that hospital inside out, man. I spent, like I said, 3 months there every day, and like you just think, why would you, like, of all places to go? Do you know what I mean? Like there's sick babies in, like, when I say sick, I mean sick babies in there, people giving birth. Like, why would you, like? Obviously, I know why you'd go there, because it's impact and all that stuff, but just why? It's a madness, isn't it?
It's crazy. You deep it like that. No.
And then even yesterday, obviously it's a bit different, but there was I don't know if they've linked it to a terror attack or not, but there was a guy in London, like, just stabbing people, and he tried to stab this 84-year-old woman. Have you lot seen this shit?
Oh,
The
the
guy that
Somali
tried to
brother.
intervene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah,
stopped
yeah.
it stopped her from getting stabbed, but he stabbed him to death instead. It's like, it's
Boy,
just
crazy,
people.
man.
People are crazy, man.
It's mad.
I think that's why, like I said before, man, 9 out of 10 times I'm in my house. I don't go too far. I don't do too much. But even, I just don't, man. I don't do it. I never do it, regardless of whenever things like this happen, because it's just fast, isn't it? I don't want to be outside and then something
Yeah,
happens. So
there's too many mad people out there, man. Too many mad people. Oh, man. Obviously not linked to stuff we was talking about, but I was at work a few weeks.
I hope this is a good segue.
I've heard it.
No,
It's better
no,
be
it's
completely unrelated.
No, it's completely unrelated. But like, yeah, I was at work the other day. Obviously, I still do deliveries, but I changed job, and I was on the evening shift, and I just pulled up the van. Obviously, parked up the van, yeah, and seen this, like, this woman was walking, yeah, and then, like, you know when it's cold outside, but you can see the sweat coming off their head, like steam in it, like steaming, yeah. And she just stopped and she just stared at me, yeah. And she walked around to the side of the van, yeah, and goes, "Oh, can I have your number?" I was like, "What? What do you mean?" Like, and I
Oh
was like,
shit!
"Bro, I don't know if she's a crackhead or I don't know what she was, yeah. She didn't, but she didn't. I don't know if she was. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what was going on with her, but I was fucking scared, bro.
That's why I don't interact with too many
I was
people as
like,
well.
what? I was so baffled, like, because I literally just parked the van up. It's not like I was there for ages, and she was like,
It's almost like she was waiting for the van to pull up in it.
like, it was weird. Like, it was within seconds of me, like, pulling up the van, and it's like, "Can I have your number?" I was like, what? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's a bit mad.
Yeah. I was
Oh,
baffled for the rest of that shift. Yeah, I was just thinking, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I don't interact with too many people, man. I literally, if
I
someone
said
comes
no,
up to
by the
me,
way. I said no, by the way.
I was gonna, I was
Just
gonna
to,
ask that as
yeah,
well. I was gonna ask that, but
just to be clear. And then she's like, okay. And then she just walked off. Like, I was like, what the fuck was
yeah, she's
that?
definitely on the
I don't
pipe.
know.
something.
Something, man. Like New Jack City stuff. But, boy, people are mad out here, man. People are crazy.
No, I was thinking the other day as well. We need to get the Christmas special sorted, man, because last year's Christmas one.
That was funny, man.
Yeah. No, we need to
Wait,
get that
on that,
sorted.
yeah, I'm sure I must have told on that one about the car, innit?
What,
Which
when you
one?
drove it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was that
the
Christmas Day?
present. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
Day, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Gone in 60 seconds, boy. Fucking hell. No, yeah, we need to get that sorted, man.
No, that'll be a good one.
Can't believe Christmas is round again, man. To be fair,
This
Is it
year
like
has
5 weeks?
This year's gone. It's flown by, man.
yeah.
Flown by.
You know, I just flashed, literally just flashed up then about Austria. Have you man heard about Austria?
Which?
Yeah, the unvaccinated lockdown.
They're literally
Oh,
just
yeah.
implementing it now.
I think
Yeah,
they're doing it in They're doing something
Australia
similar
as well.
in Is it Netherlands as well?
Australia.
I know. Yeah, Australia as well. Yeah. It's
That's
confusing
insane.
though. It's confusing because every country, well, loads of countries just seems to be doing some random shit. I know we ain't gonna do shit here. Like, half the nation has to be dead before they're like, oh, maybe we should start wearing masks again. But yes, so if you're not vaccinated in Austria, then you
Yeah, you
can't
can't
do
leave your
nothing.
yard.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think that's similar to France, you have to get a
Don't have to get our permission.
yeah, you have to have a test for every single place you want to go to, like cafe, super. You have to get like I don't know if it's a fresh one or just one for the day, but you have to get a test if you're not vaccinated.
Yeah, and what they're doing here basically with the nurses, which is a disgrace.
It's the whole NHS stuff. It's all
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
not
everywhere.
just the nurses, sorry, but it's a
Yeah,
disgrace because
so I think they've done care workers
you've
already, haven't
worked.
you?
yeah.
And
Yeah,
now it's
but
the
it's a
NHS.
disgrace because you've worked the whole pandemic here, especially at its peak when there was
More
no
hours. Yeah,
more hours, there was no vaccines. They was taking people off different like sections to work on them wings.
yeah,
You know, they worked the whole thing, and now you're throwing them under the bus.
yeah.
And
They've told
it
them
makes it
you have to do
it's
it by April, or I think
it's
there's a
mad.
risk of
But,
suspension. Yeah,
but the stupid thing about it is here, it feels like Brexit all over again because it screams of lack of planning. Because if that amount of staff walk here, because I think it's what 60,000 people they were saying that haven't been vaccinated that work in the NHS here, they can't handle 60,000 people leaving the NHS like in
Yeah, it's
April.
mad.
It will crash. The NHS would crash if that happened. So for that, it's just madness. And it should look for me personally, as I said to you, man, before. It should be your choice, man. Like if you want to do it and you feel like you want to get it done for whatever them reasons are, then do it. And if you don't want to get the vaccine, then you shouldn't be forced into like losing your job or anything like that. Because it happened at the company I work for. Well, I don't work for them anymore, but they was like on the same thing as well. Like if you do deliveries to care homes and things like that, then you need to be vaccinated and all that type of stuff. Because we do loads of care homes and hospitals, isn't it?
mm.
And yeah, they was on the same thing. Like, oh, you can't do them deliveries if you don't have the like the proof of your
Yeah,
vaccines.
yeah.
But
I
for me
just think it's
personally, man,
it's just mad though because people who are vaccinated are still getting COVID.
I was just gonna touch on that, yeah, because I know, like, as a fact, up until last week, there are NHS services where people are going that have COVID that come to contact with other staff and they do not business. They're not like they go in. You know, you get the little. I don't know if it's still a ping now, whatever. But you can have someone who's got COVID go into a site, have contact with another person, and if their test come back negative or whatever, back in the following week, like the next day. They don't give a shit because if they really gave a shit, what they say is, all right, we've had a breach or there's someone that's come in that's got it. They don't have to shut it down for a couple of days. You know what I mean? So they don't give a shit. They just need they got so much of these vaccines and so many of their brethren that's obviously spent so much money. They just need to use them because they don't want to give
yeah,
it to Africa and all them other places.
yeah. But I think the thing with people still getting it is that's going to happen anyway because it's not immune. It don't give you immunity from it.
Yeah,
So you know,
But that's
like
I
people
suppose
still going
that's
to.
what I mean. What's the point in forcing the staff to have it then? Do you get what I mean? Like I think
No,
I
no,
think
I don't.
I agree with you. It should be a choice that, like you
Yeah,
said before, that there should be the choice should be down to the individual who works for the NHS. But then to force it on them, it's not like it's 100% proof that you're not going to get it. Do you get what I mean? So even
no,
if you
it's
took it
not.
and you still contract it because it's not what is it 90 something percent
Yeah.
whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? It just defeats the object for me, man. But it should be a personal choice, man. 100%.
Yeah, I think it should be a choice like all the other ones are. I know I can't remember if it's the army here or America or is it the NHS hospital? Did they check what vaccines you've had before you worked for the NHS? Before this, anyway, they do, don't they?
they do, and I think because I know a teacher, I know this is slightly different, but if you have one that isn't from one of their approved countries, you've got to do the whole thing again. So I
Okay.
know someone that was from somewhere in South America. They're English. They came back here to be a teacher, and I think they had the first one there, maybe the second one, but definitely the first one. And they said, "Don't count because we're not sure if it's the proper one, so you got to start again."
No, I meant other vaccines.
You mean like flu jab and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, like they checked that you've had all the right vaccines
Tetanus and
before.
all them kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
They depends on the trust, but the flu one, I know, for example, they're trying to make that compulsory now, so they're trying to force staff to do that. I think that will be from next year. but you don't have, the other ones it depends, but yeah, some trusts they won't let you start working for them if you ain't got evidence that you've had, I can't remember, like hepatitis and all of them
Yeah,
jabs.
because I knew it was a thing. I knew it was a thing before. So,
That's
but
mad.
no, you shouldn't be forced anyway. Like, it should be everyone's choice. Like, I've had both vaccines in it, as you know, but like, it was my choice to get it done in it. Like, if no one could have forced me to do it,
Yeah,
but they shouldn't be forced into getting it done, especially when they've risked their lives and worked through the whole pandemic when we was all at home under lockdown like settings in both lockdowns to be
Not even
thrown under
just
the
that,
bus
man.
like this now.
They're humans, man. They literally
No,
just,
yeah, but
just
most
humans, innit?
importantly, no, they're humans, but most importantly, that they worked at the peak of this like shit happening. Do you know what I
it's the
mean?
disrespect in it,
It's the
basically.
disrespect to throw them under the bus like that is wrong, and I just don't think it's acceptable. And and the NHS can't handle if they all leave. And look, some of them are going to buckle under the pressure and obviously get the
Private healthcare.
vaccine, yeah. But if most of them leave, they can't handle. Yeah,
Fam,
that's what they want to do anyway.
they're
Private.
trying to privatize it. That's it, because that's where they're pushing it. They are stretching that NHS so thin.
But most of it's
It's gonna
privatized
happen.
already anyway. Most of it's privatized already. It's just that we don't know because they don't like it's not in the media. But when
Just
people like
sourced out to our independent companies, isn't it?
yeah, when people like Corbyn was talking about it, like banging on about it, no one was everyone was like, chatting about him like he was a madman.
Then
But
then
everything he
people
said was
know
true.
about a shit healthcare
Yeah, because
service. Yeah,
because like it's like what I do deliveries and I know it's private because there's companies that are running things now that weren't running them before, innit? When you go to hospital.
yeah,
Or even when you go to dentists, like they've like I don't know if you noticed it, but they've cut down the amount of spaces or hours that the NHS get, and most of them dentists is now
yeah.
doing
It's
private.
private. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
expensive
like
as
you
fuck.
you call for an appointment and they're telling you like 3 months, but then you can get a private one at the same surgery next week.
No, it's
You get what
facts.
I'm saying? No, it's
My
facts. It's
my
facts.
next one. I went on a call of like a few weeks ago. My appointment's the first week in February.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I was like, right, I don't have any teeth left back there.
That's what I'm trying to say, yeah.
I was like,
And
water till Christmas and after New
yeah,
Year's.
yeah. But your same surgery that you called, if
Yeah,
you want to go private with them, they'll get you
yeah.
in today.
That's it.
So
That's it.
loads of them are
You
doing
doing later.
yeah. But then they've done the same thing with the surgeries. So your GP surgeries, they're all private now. They're run by companies.
Mm.
So it's already happening. It's just that people don't know because they're kind of just oblivious to all that stuff. But it's already happening. It's in full flow.
It's been like that for years, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it just they they chip away at it year by year, and more of it goes private year by year. Loads of it in the last 10 years has gone private. It's nuts.
Crazy, man.
Just gonna to end on a positive note. I was gonna ask if everybody's up to date with all the Dave Chappelle stuff now. Everybody's seen the latest one.
Yeah, I
No,
watched it the day it came out.
but what's her name again? Caitlyn come out and backed him. So once that happens, it's done, innit?
But he knows her, innit? He's saying that he's met her before.
Yeah, no, that's why.
That's from time, though, isn't it? That's from
they're friends
years ago. Yeah.
They're friends, and that's why she defended him, innit? But
And
listen,
you can't cancel Dave Chappelle. Like, you can't cancel someone who doesn't give a shit about being cancelled.
It's not even just him. It's not even just him as well. It's just stuff he's talking about. Like, you can't cancel people for having them kind of opinions. Like, that's in a whole episode in itself, actually, that we need to do. But it's just stupid things. Like that woman, I can't remember her name, yeah, but she works for like the breastfeeding, not the breastfeeding association, but the trust or whatever. Like here, she got sacked because she called it breastfeeding, and she was refusing to call it chest feeding or something like that. It's just getting stupid, but that's a whole episode for another day, man.
I was gonna ask you, man, how you found it. Like, what is it rank of all the the latest ones? Is on Netflix? Where did it rank for you?
But this recent one amongst
The
all his
most recent
specials,
one, yeah,
amongst all his specials,
yeah.
You know what? It's not my favorite one. The one where he talks about the guy from Empire is my favorite one. I can't remember which one it is. Is that Sticks and Stones? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Jesse
yeah,
Smoothier, whatever his name, he called him in there.
Did
But
you call
that's
him?
that's my favorite
Did you
one.
call it Jesse Smoothie?
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember. I might have got that wrong, but that's my favorite one because it's just funny from start to end. But this one had a more serious message in it, so I enjoyed it, but for different reasons as well.
Educate. Was that the Sticks and Stones, the one with the OJ stories? Was that one?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
That one was funny. I think it's the Sticks and Stones one. I think the one I'm thinking of. The first 9 minutes are just a car crash. He nearly got They tried to cancel that one too, innit?
That was when he's the Me Too stuff.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That was funny, man.
Yeah,
that's the best one.
That was bad.
But this one was still good anyway. It's still funny. Yeah. You can't. There's no point. Like, you see the thing with comedians. Yeah, you can't cancel them. Like, for having opinions and jokes, innit? It's comedy. And even throughout that show, yeah, he's having to do disclaimers and say, like, it's just comedy. Like, you shouldn't even have to do all of that. We should just know. But they get their back anyway.
I was going to go into full flow then, innit? Now, we can talk about that on the next episode, man. I think it's definitely one that we need to talk about because I think it's funny because, again, it goes back to the whole social media thing. Without social media, I don't even think people would give a shit about a lot of the things he said in there. Do you know what I mean? And I think that plays a big part in it, which is why, for me, the expiry date is very close, man. I mean,
it's getting to the point, especially with that stuff. Yeah, like we're just losing all common sense. Like, people are scared to say things that they know is true, just because they don't want to get cancelled or upset like people.
It's very sensitive.
Like, even that example I said about, calling, like, breastfeeding, chest feeding. Women have breasts, yeah. They breastfeed. We cannot breastfeed because we don't have breasts. We are not women. So things like that is just common sense.
Though, isn't it?
You have to now call it chest feeding to
be inclusive. Yeah.
Anyway.
One thing I will touch on when we talk about it, though, because obviously you might know that when I went to it, it was an interesting experience which I won't go into, but it was an uncomfortable experience, and I enjoyed seeing it live. But I don't know, because I know, Jesse, I think you've probably seen him more recently. Like, I know you've seen him in the last number of years or whatever. It was really uncomfortable because some people were laughing at the fact rather than the joke. So, like, if he's saying a joke and using the N-word, they'd be laughing at him using the N-word rather than the actual punchline. It was such a, because I didn't really notice it like at Chris Rock or like even some of the not amateur ones, but like the more sort of local ones. But it was happening like quite often, and it really reminded me of when he's saying about when he walked away from the money and all of that. When he's saying people are laughing at his jokes a bit too hard, and it was really.
That's a quick question. Sorry, yeah. What made you think that? Like, what made you come to that conclusion that they were laughing at the use of the N-word rather than the joke, and not just that they found the joke funny?
Because they were laughing like directly. Because with him, he's a story. He's got like some of his short jokes, but he's got a good narrative. Do you know what I mean? And he'll set things up, but they'll be laughing at the setup of the joke, and you can tell with him because he changes his pace, he changes his the texture, the timbre of his voice, and he'll laugh a little bit at the jokes, but they'll be laughing at things like, I live in this area of, I can't remember where he lives in, and DC, and I'm one of like 3 black people in my whole place, and it will go quiet, but then some people will start laughing, and it's like, yeah, that's not the funny bit. Like, the funny bit is the bit that he's leading up to. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're laughing at just factual stuff that's not really. It's just,
but that's when people do that though at comedy, because even at Mo Gilligan, people were doing that. Like, they were laughing before the punchline or they're laughing before the joke. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes people just, especially when you've had a drink as well, people just laugh at things that aren't funny. That's in my own assumption.
Yeah. But also, everyone's opinion of a punchline is different.
So when it's a weird part of the joke to laugh. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's making a joke about abortion, and he's talking about the trauma of going through an abortion, and people laughing at that bit, but there's an actual
I think
joke
that's
to it.
different though. Maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't there, so I can't really
That's
say.
what I mean. Yeah, that's that people
that-
laughing at the trauma kind of bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the
but
fact.
I think he's saying that bit about being free, only three people that lives in his whole complex. People laugh at things like that though, and that's why he's saying it. So I've noticed that at comedy. I went to a comedy show like near where I live, and I know what you're kind of talking about in terms of people laughing a bit too hard about certain things, but that's comedy as well. Look,
I'll come back to it because
that's always going to happen though, and it might just be your like how you've taken it as well. Do you know what I mean? But
you know what it might be, but you also notice that there's certain people that's laughing at. It's like like if it's once or twice, like and sometimes I miss a joke. Like I'll laugh at certain bits that maybe one intended to be funny, but I found it funny. But it's when it's consistently all you can hear just bare laughter, and it's like proper intense laughter at bits you're thinking, yeah, he seemed like he's telling a story, and that bit was like not a fun bit for him, like especially when he's talking about it. But we come back to that anyway. I just found it interesting. I hadn't really noticed it so much when I watched other stand-ups or when I've been to other stand-ups.
I've noticed it. I've noticed it a lot. The ones that I've been to, and I've noticed it where it's been like trying to think of someone like Lee Mack, for instance, years ago. Got to see him, and people were laughing at things like he just said his name, and people are giggling. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's just because some people, when they go there, they feel like they've got to laugh at everything that comes out of someone's mouth. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you think, "Right, what are you actually?" Or did I miss a joke? Do you know what I mean? Some people are like, is a joke already happened and I've missed it? But you was there, so obviously
No, I hear that. Yeah,
and they might have just been intoxicated as well.
that's what I mean. When people have a drink,
I know
they laugh at
almost
anything.
broke out still, but
yeah, there you go then.
Yeah. No, I'm like I say, like I'll bring it up again, but I was just interested to see your guys' experiences because it made me feel quite uncomfortable to be there. Like I couldn't even really enjoy it.
Give me an example.
I'll rewatch it and I'll bring because I remember because the jokes, some of the jokes were on the special and were live, but there were some different ones. But there's one we was talking about you must have heard it, the one we was talking about. You can't be a black man and get raped, and he's saying about imagine telling your brethren that you got raped. Do you know what I mean? But I'll listen to the joke again and I'll explain the bit where people laughed and why it's a clever joke, and a bit where you probably would usually laugh as well.
But you see what I mean though, because you just said that then. And there isn't necessarily anything funny in what you just said, but Jesse's busting up, and that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say though. Some people take the joke differently, because I get why he's laughing. But to be fair, it's true though. But to be fair, it's a serious thing you just said. Do you get what I mean?
But do you know what I mean? If Jesse didn't know the context of that joke and was laughing at me saying black men getting raped,
I just think everyone's
might be a bit mad. I don't know.
He said it himself actually. The interpretation of comedy is what you make of it.
Yeah,
he said that recently. I can't remember what I watched, but he said that whatever you interpret the comedy to be is what you. That's why he likes it, because that's his art. You can take it one way, and I can take it one way. Jesse could take it one way as well.
And even in the delivery of a joke, like say like a story that they tell you, there's multiple jokes as well.
Yeah.
Like throughout that. So if he tells us like a funny story, there's multiple jokes.